Let's find a critical value for a confidence level of 95%. And so I'm going to use this graph up here. And so this shaded area, this gray region, is going to have a percent of 95%. And so on the outsides then, that means I have 5% left over. And since the normal distribution is symmetric, I know that I have 5% divided by 2 on each side, or 2.5%. And so keep in mind the z-score. It's the value on the standard normal curve that has 95% of the data between the positive and negative versions of that value. And so if I look at the curve, this applet, I've already set it up to have 95% of the data in the middle, so this is as close as I could get, 0.9497. And so the critical value is going to be these green values up here, so this negative 1.957 and this positive 1.957. And so here we can see that z sub c is positive 1.96, so I'm going to round it because that's the standard. So this is actually always the critical value for a confidence level of 95%. This is never going to change, right? If you compare this to the empirical rule, which is definitely just an approximation, but the empirical rule says that within 2 standard deviations of your mean, you have approximately 95% of the data. And so now we're seeing that it's not exactly 2 standard deviations within the mean, it's 1.96 standard deviations within the mean. To find the critical value using either a TI-83 plus or a TI-84 plus, you can use the function inverse norm, and it's found in the same place that you find normal CDF. And so the first number it expects here is the area to the left of the z-score, and then the mean and standard deviation for a standard normal curve, because you're looking for a z-score. And what this returns, keep in mind that it's returning a z-score. So you're giving it an area, and it's returning that z-score. So what I'm going to do is we can actually find the negative version of negative z sub c. And if you look at the chart that we have up here, the area under the curve to the left of negative z sub c is actually given by this 2.5%. And so when I convert this to a decimal, our area is 0.025, mean 0, standard deviation 1. And again, you are going to get negative 1.96, which means that positive z sub c is positive 1.96.